If you have bad periods of any kind, especially if you have heavy periods, you don't want to detox under any circumstance. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Emmanuel Arbani. I'm a health and nutrition practitioner. And if you want to know more about me, I've linked information in the description. So you definitely don't want to detox when you have heavy periods or bad periods of any kind, because that can trigger everything to get a heck of a lot worse. So think detoxing even to the point of if you're on a specific diet where you're taking high doses of magnesium or where you're taking herbs to help your liver detox. All of that is a bad idea if you have heavy periods. You need to have what's called redox before you detox. What does redox really mean? It means your body's own ability to reduce inflammation and add, let's say, antioxidants at the source. What this really means is it's adding an electron. Inflammation is, in essence, too many protons and not enough electrons, or the proton movement is stalled. And this stall happens both because you don't have good water that's being charge separated, you're not sensing the Earth's magnetic field, or you don't have enough of a magnetic field while you sleep or where you live that's allowing this aligning and movement and polarity and separation to happen. You don't have the good light environment. You don't have everything tuned in. And this is going to make redox impossible. And there's chaos. So chaos is going to be inflammation as well. And they both are connected to each other. And chaos is essentially when all the molecules in your cells, let's say, right, are just a disaster instead of being exactly perfectly organized. And the organization of this is controlled by circadian signaling and all of its relatives, like ubiquitination, all these complex things that we're not going to get into. So, what happens, first of all, if you were to detox and you have a bad period? That you would likely experience a lot of pain and extremely heavy bleeding and stuff like that if you detox. And I've seen this happen too many times, or somebody goes on a specific diet and they're kind of detoxing, maybe extra fiber, maybe extra magnesium citrate to clear out, and they don't think twice about it. But that is a big no-no. So how do you improve your redox? And that looks like all of the fundamentals, step-by-step fashion. So curating your light environment to mirror the sun, meaning using the sun, not using artificial light for that. Getting all of your clocks to become aligned by using those outdoor back to nature strategies and timing your food appropriately to do this. You don't even want to think about detoxing when you have bad periods until everything is way better. And then most likely at that point, you won't even need it, because you're just going to, there's a specific signal that must happen. And everybody likes to think of detox pathways as like phase 1, 2, and 3 in the liver or the kidneys. And they don't think of all the signals that must happen for you to truly do what we define as detox. Because usually what's happening is your body is just dumping. And especially when you have heavy periods, if you trigger a detox mechanism through like magnesium citrate, like a high dose of herbs, milk thistle, whatever, and you're doing it enough to actually detox, your body takes everything, necessary or not, in a very chaotic fashion because there's no order in your cells. You haven't restored it yet. And it dumps. And that dumping is what's causing all of the pain and the heavy bleeding. And that can make things worse. If you have bad periods, maybe your iron is low, hemoglobin, ferritin, your hair is already, maybe questionable, you don't feel that great, it's not going to help. And now some people will experience a temporary relief from detoxing, depending on how they do it and depending on their body's sensitivity. But what happens is then they have to keep detoxing. And then you're going to collect damage every time you detox until you snap, and you'll never connect the dots because you were never meant to detox like that. You were meant to add the electrons to move the proton flow in your mitochondria to make sure that the charges in your water, your cells, any place you have like a collection of, say, water, or think cerebral spinal fluid or synovial fluid between your joints, which must be charge separated and must form a gel-like substance that's able to store energy and information. And then you must be able to use the information provided to you by nature, by grounding, by sunlight, by sunrise, by food timing to then organize everything in your body. And when you're detoxing, you're not doing any of that. You're forcing things through, which is a problem. So don't detox, especially if you have bad periods.